Hello everybody, welcome back to some more viewer coaching. Today we got Cinnamon up on the racks, although I think Cinnamon mains random, so we're gonna see a few legends here. Cinnamon mentioned that they are plat and they struggle to change the pace of the game, know when they're going too aggressive and when to slow down. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to play aggressively, try and match their speed, and then after that I'm going to try and slow things down and see how they compensate to that. Now this is a very common habit that I think happens among people when they get really excited or they get super emotional, and I know this very well because I do the exact same thing, where they start to notice things going their way, swinging in their favor, momentum on their side, and then they just start rushing. Like that Sarah, for example. My spacing, if it was better, I would have been able to punish that one, but you want to be aware of like instant wake-ups and dodge-ins back to stage and stuff like that, because when you get heated in that moment, you're like, oh my god, I just want to keep playing, I want to go for the action, I want to just go, when sometimes the best thing to do is just breeze. So like that Sarah, for example, it seems very, this is a term that Boomy uses, like an emotional play. The way I like to describe it for myself is rhythm. I mentioned this in the previous one, where I kind of go to this autopilot rhythm where I just want to go, and I'm always attacking at the same pace, at the same rate, with the same timing. I always dash in with the same timing and stuff like that. And then the opponent can read that, or at the very least, they have been punishing me for it, and I haven't been adapting to it, so it's something to be aware of. So I look out for stuff like that when you start to get into your own rhythm, where you're always attacking at the same timing, the same movement, the same height of your jump and stuff like that, and catch yourself and go, wait, I can't do that. That was a total misinput. I fat-fingered my dodge button there. But I mean, it would have been cool if it hit, so probably worth. But yeah, I'd be very careful about that. Now, something like recovering back to the stage, hanging on the wall when someone is ledge trapping you, that is one of the single most common situations that I tend to watch myself slow down, and then I really start to let the game slip away from me because I'm not paying attention, or I've been succeeding being emotional and I don't know how to handle being slower. So I'm going to try and push you to the ledge here and see how you handle coming back to the stage. My end light there was not the greatest, but attacking back to the stage is a good thing to do, and that was a great edge guard. I had to worry about 3 different things at once, and you punished me great with that unarmed sidelight to get the KO. So yeah, I'm going to try and push you to the ledge here and see how you recover back to stage. You always instant attack and try to come back. So that dodge in, that was a good mix-up. That was great. It seems like you have a very good sense about how to mix things up. It's just a matter of when you get in the moment, maybe you start to not really do it as much and the emotions get ahead of you. I'm not too sure. That's kind of just my guess based on what you said you need to work on. But yeah, stuff like those instant attacks, right? They're hard to react to, and I would need to space properly in order to get out of that range because of the lance and stuff. Oops, I didn't jump. Hold on. that was a bit risky. But generally speaking, I think you have a good sense of movement. You have a good sense of mixing things up, of edge guards. And it's just a matter of really letting things slip when they start to get heated, or when you start to move really quickly. Now, I didn't mention this outright, but you may have picked up on it if you're paying close enough attention. I totally changed the way I was playing after that first stock. I started slowing things down a little bit more, taking more time, giving more space, and seeing how you responded to that. And it seemed like you started jumping around a lot more and going for a lot of options where you were starting to run low. That was an insane GC. I don't know how you saw that option, but that was crazy. But yeah, this is another thing that tends to happen to me when I start getting really heated, is my movement is like super fast. I'm trying to do all these dodges and stuff, and then the moment stuff starts to slow down, I'm like, I don't know what to do. I start jumping around. I use all of my jumps to recover back to the stage, and trying to fall down from juggles is really difficult because now I have to think about it, and the other person, everything I try, everything that I'm trying to get them to react to, they're either guessing it or they're reacting in time. And yeah, it's something that tends to happen when, again, stuff slows down a little bit. And so that's also something that I think analysis can really help with. If you're looking at your gameplay more from a bird's eye perspective, more objectively, you can kind of see when your gameplay style starts to change. Like I mentioned it in the first game, I could really notice, I mean, part of it was because I was doing it intentionally, but I could really notice when my gameplay style was starting to shift and when that rhythm was starting to change, that attack rhythm. Now, it is a lot harder to do in the middle of the match, especially if it's like emotional and your heart's in it and the other person is outplaying you and then you're outplaying them. But I'd be aware of that, like this kind of falling thing where this is something that happens a lot. Now, I actually haven't noticed you do it too much, but where you kind of tunnel vision on a target. Yeah, actually, with these down airs, with these dodge downs, it does look a little bit like you're tunnel visioning on a target. And when people are backing up, I imagine you may start to rush attack. So now I'm going to play it quite differently. I'll mention it this time, where I'm just trying to avoid you, bait out an option, and then punish. So I'm just going to walk away. I'm going to jump away and see how you chase me. It seems like you're always going for these nairs, these jump nairs, where I am, as opposed to trying to locate and punish where I will be. And so that's also something to think about, is when people are slowing down the pace of the game, a lot of the time you may start to get in your own head and you're like, I need to hit them now, I need to go for this punish now, I need to hit them, because all those emotions are just running crazy in your head, when sometimes just taking a deep breath and looking at, okay, this is where they will be, not where they are, this is where they're trying to go, this is what they're trying to do. It kind of brings you more to the moment as opposed to just being stuck, I guess, in the past a little bit about trying to hit a shadow or trying to hit a ghost. And this is also a common thing that I mention in these videos, so it seems like if Cinnamon struggles with this, you may struggle with it as well. But yeah, a lot of that is about tracking movement and knowing what to look out for. So things like jump timing, things like dodge timing, when they dodge, what direction they dodge, when they go for an attacks in neutral, and what that is pretty much is their rhythm. So paying attention to your rhythm is very important, of course, because I mean, that's one of the main things I pay attention to when I'm not really playing too hot and when I'm starting to autopilot. But paying attention to their rhythm is how you can start to get those reads. So yeah, pay attention to the small things, when they jump, how they jump, in what position do they try to wake up attack, what attacks do they like to go for when you're close to them, stuff like that. Now, I do feel like I haven't answered this question to the best of my ability, if I'm going to be honest. It is quite difficult, but that makes it a very good question, so maybe I have to think about it more, and I can't really do it too much when commentating over gameplay, but I hope it helps anyway. This game, though, I am going to try and pay attention more to some of your general habits and help you with the smaller stuff, less so than like the macro, okay, here's how I calm down, and here's situations to notice and rhythm and stuff like that, and pay more attention to your own rhythm. When you jump, when you dodge, it seems like you go for a lot of dodge ins and horizontal dodges. Yep, like dodge ins, I'd look out for. It seems like you go for those a lot. And these GC wake-ups in general are pretty good. I think you have a good sense of knowing when to go for them and not doing it too much. As opposed to like the GC SIGs in neutral, I think a lot of those are pretty high risk. So I'd look out for those if people are punishing you a lot for it. I don't think I've been punishing you too much, but I haven't necessarily been going like, oh, hard in the punishes and stuff like that. But your spacing for grounded attacks in the air is super good. I think that's like one of the strengths of your gameplay, and that's something to look out for. But also, like these habits about dodging in, dodging down, dodging in neutral with the same timing, going for that wake-up attack. This is a very common thing among people like me, and it sounds like you play like me as well, where you start to really want to get back into the action when things start to slip away from you. When you're behind in this game, okay, now you need to play 2 times as well in order to win. When I think a lot of the case, it's about playing your own game, trusting your game, and trusting that you can make a comeback if you just play well enough, instead of thinking like, okay, I need to make a comeback, just taking it one hit at a time, one interaction, one fast fall even at a time. And then taking it from there. Having faith in your game, I think, is a very underrated thing that people don't talk about too much, but some of that is, you gotta know your game, right? In order to have faith in your game, you gotta kind of know what it's about, and I think a huge part of that is the rhythm. And the reason why I think it's the rhythm is because it's one of those things that we don't think about. We don't really have awareness of it. And if you don't have awareness of it, then you don't really know when it comes up, when to do it, and when it's happening to you. But if you do know, if you can start to notice that, then you can start to change it, right? Some people have mentioned to me that they start to main a character, maybe it's Diana, maybe it's Core, and after a little bit, despite feeling really great with the character, suddenly they start feeling really bad, and I feel bad about my commentary, Jesus. And they don't know why. And I think a lot of it is because when you're first starting, you're paying a lot of attention to the really small stuff. When do I use my signature here? When does this work? And you're trying to figuring stuff out. Oh, this side sig works here. This end sig works here. And then when you start to play it more, you get the muscle memory, and then you start always doing the same things over and over again. Like right there, I'd be a little bit aware about always falling with the same timing. I'm just gonna avoid that one. I don't want to get hit by that. Yeah, and so being aware of rhythm is how you kind of break that muscle memory loop. That's how you break that muscle memory, because if you're always doing the same things and you don't know why you're improving, well, take a look at those things. Try and watch those replays. Look at it from a bird's eye perspective, because when stuff starts to slip away from you, your brain is designed not to notice it. You're not supposed to notice your habits. So when your problems are related to habits, if you are that Diana player, you are that Core player, try taking a look at the things that you would have never thought to think about before. I'm being vague because it's kind of individually focused, but I do think replays will help with that. I also have a bunch of videos on that exact topic to help you figure out what exactly to work on. But thank you, Cinnamon, for playing with me, for featuring yourself and volunteering to play in order to help everyone else out. It's much appreciated. Thanks for watching, everyone. I'll see you in the next one.